Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal. I am currently in central Pennsylvania helping my mom out with some things. We went through a whole bunch of stuff through her house. Today it was mostly clothing, but we've cleared out a whole bunch of other things. So I just made a quick trip up to the Goodwill to donate all of the items that we are purging. My mom had like 3 different dressers full of clothing and now she only has one dresser. So we accomplished a lot. So I'm not going to be in here for too long, but I thought that I would film kind of what the store looks like. And, you know, if I see anything, I'll let you know. And before we head in, I'm going to show you how they actually set up their donation bins. I really like donating at this location because there isn't a set time that you have to stop by and drop things off. You don't have to call the store. The bins are literally outside all day long and it makes it really convenient. So let's head inside and see what we can find. Here is where the bins live. Like I said, they're just out all day long. Anyone can stop by at any time during, business hours and drop off their stuff. And they constantly wheel out empty bins often. So it's really, really convenient to donate here. And here we go. First, we're going to stop at the shoes. They actually had quite a big shoe selection. Unfortunately, most of the shoes were priced up, and really none of them were half off or whatever the percentage was that day. I did like the color of these boots, but they were unbranded and they smelled very highly of chemicals. So that was an indication that they probably are cheaply made and would not be a good pickup. But just look at all the shoes that they have. This is like 3 times more than what I'm used to in my own thrift stores. Here is an example of some of the ridiculous pricing that they had. They have a thing for Clarks. They wanted $19.99 for this pair of leather booties. These I thought were super cute, but after looking up sold comps, they're not really worth picking up. And then again, look, Clarks, pair of sandals. Nope, not gonna pay that. Put that back. I think I actually said whoa out loud. So now I did look at the boots that were on top here. None of them were, substantial enough to pick up and also overpriced. And I did like these Vans because they had like a outdoor, not outdoor, like a space theme to them, but I didn't pick them up. And then, so this brand Cougar, while these shoes, these are like waterproof flats, do not have good resale value. Surprisingly, their boots do. So if you ever find that brand and that's a good style of boots, definitely look it up for comps. I considered maybe picking these up because I've sold the brand before and they were in great condition, but they were expensive. Next, we are headed to the vest section, which was right behind the shoes, so it was very convenient. I have had success selling vests. I enjoy selling them as well because they're very easy to photograph, easy to ship, and easy to store as well. Usually, I stick to puffer or quilted vests because those seem to be the best for me. I thought this was Lululemon. I was disappointed. It was only jockey. I did not recognize the logo on this vest, so I kept going. I did contemplate picking up this chaps vest, but decided to leave it behind because there wasn't any good fabric content. I think it was just acrylic and polyester. If it was wool, I probably would have picked it up. Just a random Amazon Chinese brand. I did like this, Talbots, of course, but it was a small and it was an outlet, so I left it behind. There is a Calvin Klein vest coming up here soon that felt really substantial. It had a lot of different layers to it. Calvin Klein is expensive retail, but unfortunately, resale, it is not. I looked at this too. This is new with tag Socialite. I'm not exactly sure where this is sold. I feel like I've seen it at like TJ Maxx or Marshall's, but I decided to leave it behind. And the lovely handmade Penn State vest. I am in Penn State land. Well, where this store is, it's Penn State land. So there's a lot of college gear and things like that here, but I left them behind. I have tried to sell Penn State items before, and they don't really do that well. So that's why it stayed there. This felt very, very nice. And I was trying to find a tag. I believe it's reversible, but it was Jones Sport, I believe. So left that behind. And then the rest were just not great brands. at least for me. I did look at this Talbot's quilted jacket. It was a vintage tag, but decided to leave it behind. Here is another example of ridiculous pricing. This was a new with tags Victoria's Secret fringe tote bag. Victoria's Secret wanted $58. Goodwill wanted $24.99, so a little less than half. I did go through the entire purse section because I do enjoy selling and looking for purses. Now this is the LuLaRoe skirt section. Actually, I really like this skirt, but it was just a kid's skirt and it did not belong in that section. But as you can see, there's a lot of new tag skirts. There were different skirts from LuLaRoe that I've never seen before, but I decided to not pick them up because they were not half off. This, I really liked the colors and the plaid, but it was just a new approach. I think that's what that said, which is just sold at like Kohl's or department stores. I'm always looking for like outdoorsy brands in the skirts like Patagonia or the North Face because those seem to do pretty well. This skirt I liked, but I looked it up and there's like three on Poshmark selling for around $12. So that stayed behind. I also look for denim skirts. Those seem to do pretty well too, depending on the style and the size, of course. There were a lot of skirts to get through, a very long line to skim through. And it was just a cute little vintage one I liked. The next section that I passed was books. Huge wall of books. I did not stop to look at them because, well, I just didn't have the time. This is the board game and puzzle section. A huge row of them. I do enjoy selling and looking for vintage board games that can bring good money. This was a sealed puzzle, but unfortunately, there was a lot of damage to the back of it, and it looked like it had been in someone's attic or garage for like 50 plus years. This game I saw because it was vintage, but it's not selling for a lot, and there's also a lot listed on eBay, so I did leave it behind. I sold a board game once for I think around $55. I don't remember what the name was, but it wasn't like a well-known game or even brand or anything like that. So that was fun. Lots of puzzles. Oh, I really like this puzzle. It was a vintage octagon shaped kitten puzzle, but there was a ton listed on eBay and not a lot of sold comps to back it up, picking it up. And it was going to be kind of awkward to ship because of the size. Here's a whole section of like stationery. This was like a scrapbooking thing that actually was half off, but I didn't pick it up. Just a whole bunch of like crafty things like this, scrapbooking, cards, binders galore, paper, stationery. It's crazy how much stuff that they have. Oh, and then this random candle that I just had to feel and look at. I think it was cinnamon sticks. It's kind of cool, but definitely did not belong in that section. And over here is more like craft supplies, office supplies. This was a game, I think. Oh, yeah, trivia party game. It was brand new and sealed. And then this I liked because it was also unused. Don't worry, I picked up that game that dropped, but I decided to leave it behind. I thought about it just for myself. This glove, I have no idea about baseball gloves. It was pretty rough, so I also left that on the shelf. Oh, look, I finally have something in my hand to be continued later. This is the wood section. Wood plaques, wood decor, wooden organization, wooden pegs, a lot. And then over here were all the baskets. I did look for Longaberger baskets, but I didn't see any. I believe it was Bob over at Bob Buys that said wood blocks for like knives and utensils can bring good money depending on the type of wood and the brand, of course. Unfortunately, none of these were bringing up as good of comps as what I would have wanted. I did look up the J.A. Henkel's one in the beginning, but the comps just weren't there. While I love a great color coordinated aisle. The fact that these are all plastic, including the next aisle over, is kind of sad to know how much plastic is actually reproduced. And you know, a lot of people don't recycle plastic the correct way, and a lot of them end up in thrift stores. It just made me a little bit sad to see how much was actually on the shelves. This is a little like knickknack section, ceramics, plastic. I really liked these birds, but they both had chips on their noses, so I left them there. All right, well, if you couldn't tell, that store is huge and is very overwhelming. I kind of skipped a few aisles just because I was kind of running out of time and I was kind of losing steam. The only section in the clothing I actually went through were the skirts, and I kind of skimmed the dresses, but I didn't stop at any other places because there was just a lot to look at. I do appreciate that they organize in color. I think that that's fun to look at and also kind of good for when you're shopping for something for yourself. I only left with one thing. Well, actually it's two things. It's a set of salt and pepper shakers. They are super, super cute. And once I get home and unwrap them, I will show you what they look like. Thank you for coming along with me on this little Goodwill adventure. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye! Here are the adorable little salt and pepper shakers that I picked up. I say little, but they're actually quite large. They hold a lot of salt and pepper, and actually there was salt and pepper in each of them that I had to dump out. They still need a really good cleaning. I did pay $2.99 for each of them. Like I said, there's a lot of gunk up here, but on the bottom it says 1975. This might have been one of those kinds of ceramics that people could paint at home and then like have them fired in a kiln. I'm not sure. I haven't done that much research yet. And there's something in this one that's rattling. Hopefully when I clean them, I can get them out. But yeah, I just thought they were super cute and I couldn't leave them behind.